as soon as the players get in the lobby, or out of the lobby. There we go, Lissandra and Italy, the first bans.
The typical ban against Samsung, because that is QV's best champion.
Yeah. All right, LeBlanc Callista.
ROX actually banning LeBlanc, but that's not too surprising. Crown has had some very dominant games on LeBlanc.
Yeah, Poppy. Okay. So
no first pick of Poppy, and
so,
Corki will be banned.
So can Crown play Twisted Fate?
Gragas actually may be the first pick up here. Gragas not even picked or banned. That would be surprising, considering that Ambition will probably resort to Graves this game, but it will be a Gragas first.
Right,
Curious.
Yeah. Grabbing that one for Peanut.
Well, Trundle was banned last game, and if they just take Nautilus Lulu here, Trundle will be picked by ROX.
Seems likely. What about the Nautilus Graves? I don't know.
I think they should take Nautilus Trundle.
You might as well grab a power pick now instead of your jungler. You don't need to pick the Graves.
No. And there's no reason to pick the Graves, and they're actually digging themselves into a grave if they let the Trundle go through and don't pick it, because especially now that they've shown support, that is either a mid or a top Nautilus if they lock it in, and that means that Trundle is going to be incredibly effective, either at support or in top lane for the Tigers.
They will lock it in. All right.
Well, I already don't like this draft from Samsung.
Yeah, it does give ROX Tigers a lot of information to work with, doesn't it?
At least pick the Graves there instead of the Alistar. I know you're afraid of Gorilla's Alistar, as well you should be, and he's played it the vast majority of the ROX Tigers games this season. But giving that up and showing that this Nautilus is going to have items at some point makes the Trundle really strong.
Yeah.
Varus is still up. Always been a good pick for Kuro over the past year.
What is with this Mundo hover? I wonder, wow, early Varus pick.
Just take Varus here. You don't even have to take the Trundle now. They're not going to play it, you know that.
Yeah.
Unless they play it in top lane and play Nautilus mid. So we're going to set up probably a 4-1 split with Trundle. They will take the Varus early on alongside the Braum.
So what's it going to be from Samsung? What can they build here? With the Braum on the other team, the Ezreal's kind of more or less off the table. Lucian's still available, so there's no big problem there.
Core good Lucian player. There's the Graves and the Sivir.
Yeah, I could take the Sivir away.
So strong team fighting composition. With the way Ambition plays in his farm-first style, the Graves is a valuable pickup for this Samsung team and will be the default pick after the Nidalee.
All right, Graves and Sivir. And so what's it going to be? I mean, if you go for like a sieging 4-1 split push, Caitlyn wouldn't be too bad, would it?
Could take the Caitlyn. Could take the Ezreal.
I mean, Kennon's been a pick that we've seen ROX Tigers play a lot over the last couple of years. Or last year, anyway.
They're not going to pick it here.
But, yeah. I don't think so. Lulu Lucian?
I don't think they're going to play top Lulu. That would be a bit odd. Certainly could do well in the early game, but top Lulu has not had a lot of success in Korea.
What if you go mid? What?
AD carry Varus.
Could be. Could be.
Would abuse the Sivir.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, all right. Wow. Yeah, that Varus will have a pretty easy time poking that Sivir in lane.
That spell shield is down. You can't do much. So Prey will be playing Varus, a champion that we almost never see in the AD carry role.
Yeah, you wonder how Prey's going to do with that.
And they will be playing a 4-1 split composition again. Lulu mostly going to be used to Wild Growth, Smebs, Fiora in this case, but we'll see what Prey can do with a caster AD carry with Whimsy. It's a bit odd.
I don't know. I think the Whimsy is all for when Smeb shows up for those ganks constantly. Speed up that Fiora. Or just Whimsy your opponent too, you know. Polymorph is never a bad thing to do.
Not a lot of synergy on this ROX Tigers composition. At least they have good wave clear for 4-1 sieging. That's about all they can do. Gragas ult combined with Chain of Corruption. And this is a this is going to be a Crown staple. He will always go back to this pick.
Yeah. He certainly has had success with it in the past. But it's not a pick we see very often.
No, but it is something that Crown does.
It certainly is. So Samsung relying on some old school comfort picks. Comfort pick for Crown to try to get back in this one. And ROX Tigers, they may not have synergy in their team composition, but they've got the more important synergy, man. They've got the player synergy in the booth happening every game. And so far, that's the synergy that counts.
And here we go, getting into this game. Samsung definitely going for the 5v5 this time around. Whether they can make it work, they failed to do it last game. They were picked off by ROX's pick composition, but ROX mixing it up.
Yep.
Probably not going to see the same level of aggression this game. It's all about that poke and getting Smeb big so he can brutalize this Nautilus in the 1v1 in the late game.
We have seen it happen many, many times before, and we may see it happen again in just a few minutes on the screen right in front of you, whatever screen that may be, whether it's a phone, a computer, a TV, or a hologram. That'd be cool.
Those don't exist yet, though.
We need
Sorry.
to get there someday. I don't know, man. I saw Tupac dancing in that one thing. No, I'm just kidding. That wasn't real Harley. Okay, welcome to Summoner's Rift. Samsung taking on the ROX Tigers, #1 team in the league. Samsung just recently, just an hour ago or so, moved up to 6th place with a Longzhu loss. But if they lose here, they will be tied again with Longzhu in match score at 6-6 apiece. It's recall time.
And the ROX Tigers, they come into tonight in the second round robin undefeated, not only in best of threes, but in games. They've already played 5. This is their 6th in the round robin, so they would be 2/3 done with their second round robin without losing a game if they win this one. That is damn impressive.
That would be pretty incredible if they were able to pull that off. Samsung certainly a team that's capable of maybe taking games off of ROX Tigers.
Okay, I was curious which mastery, Keystone Mastery, we're going to see run on Prey here, but it will be the Deathfire Touch. Just going for that poke damage. And applying that bleed.
Time to smack a frog with an anchor.
That sounds horribly cruel, Doa.
I know. I didn't make the game. That's Riot's decision.
It's gross.
I know.
It's alright, the Gromp doesn't die, he just turns little again and runs away.
Yeah. You're not killing the Gromp. You're just beating the magic out of him? I don't know. I don't know.
Nothing ever dies in League of Legends anyway. Truly. They just come back to life. Over and over and over again.
I mean, the minions kind of die, but they were never really alive in the first place.
I don't think the minions are alive. They just look like cloaks with no weapons.
I suppose.
But they have some sort of intelligence. You know, I watched the movie Ex Machina last night.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
That is a great movie.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
really good.
interesting. I'll have to give it a try.
And, maybe the minions, that movie raises a lot of questions about ethics surrounding artificial intelligence. Now I wonder about these minions.
You wonder about
Is this the same kind of cruelty, Doa?
the efficacy of sending the minions down the lane to their death over and over again?
They may not be alive, but they operate independently. Is this a true AI that is actually being destroyed?
Do they know what they're in for? Do they feel fear as they stare the cannon minion in the face? I don't know. I don't know, but it's worth considering in this our modern age, where
I think
Google is beating the top Go player 3 days in a row with their program.
I think that really the video game rating board should take artificial intelligence into account in their rating system. Is it better or worse than killing a human being? I don't know, Doa.
Man,
I don't know.
All I know, if this is true, all the people in my Animal Crossing town are really being abused right now. I haven't visited them in a long time. Those poor animal people.
Is neglect abuse in this situation?
Maybe. Blue buff being abused by both teams at the same time. Nobody able to claim that one. I mean, I assume my Animal Crossing people will feed themselves and stuff if they even need to eat. I don't even know.
Not like your Tamagotchi, though. That is straight up abuse.
My Tamagotchi died of natural causes. It was his time. I was very sad on the school bus when it stopped vibrating, and I'm like, I guess this is the end. Tamagotchi. You'll be born anew.
Like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
That's right.
Do Tamagotchis even exist anymore?
I'm sure they do. Oh, Samsung really wants this blue buff. Gorilla and Peanut, they may want it even more, but the damage is a little bit higher with Core JJ coming down. Peanut wants to come in. Did he actually get it? Smites away. Peanut getting very low. Exhaust fails his flash. Whoopsie. First blood goes over to Wraith. Gorilla in trouble too. Exhaust burned down to Ambition, and Gorilla flashes. Ambition flashes too.
But
That's
Varus is here, and they're all sort of trapped there. Lulu is not actually going to go in and try and finish this one off. Lulu
Prey can't go in though.
at about 50% HP, so Samsung there with a nice play.
Peanut's like, yeah, that was me. Sorry. Failed my flash. Really wanted the blue buff. I got it, but then I died.
So Peanut gets first blooded in a rarity, we have to say, and champions these days.
It's going to mess the stats up.
Really good job from Samsung to clear the wave and then get into the enemy jungle and actually contest the Peanut second buff. Ambition just rolling through the jungle very quickly, taking that winning jungle matchup and turning it into a kill after that long dance. At the same time, Crown doing a good job of keeping Kuro from joining up with his team by pushing in the mid wave, and everything going over to Samsung right now. They find themselves with a 1,000 gold advantage in 6 minutes.
Well, we don't really see teams fighting fire with fire as far as turning the aggression on to ROX Tigers early on. You know, in game one, we did see ROX Tigers down in gold at 15 minutes, which is almost unheard of in their games. Now here in game two, Samsung jumping out to an early lead. But can they hold on to it? Obviously, in game number one, they could not. We'll see if things go a little bit differently here in game two.
And they did take a hit as a result. Sure, they got the kills. Prey, though, did end up picking up a little bit more farm and pushing up that tower. And we also see Smeb. He has been left alone with Cuvée in this bottom side, and he's the one who's the scary part of this composition that they absolutely have to stop.
I suppose.
As long as the ROX Tigers can clear minion waves against Samsung. Samsung doesn't have a good siege composition. They have Cassiopeia and Sivir and Graves. These are all pretty short-range champions that will not be able to get close to the turret against a Lulu, Braum, and especially Gragas combo, knocking you right in there. So even if they get an edge, they can't really take towers with it. That means that Samsung's ultimate goal has to be Dragon and Baron, which is where they will be able to effectively force fights. But as long as ROX can clear those minion waves and Fiora gets huge, that is still fine for the ROX Tigers as long as they don't start to give up even more kills.
Well, that's the plan. They have been losing a bit of their jungle, though. Although I think Peanut's been taking some on the blue side for Samsung, too.
Yeah, just a little bit here and a little bit there, and now he's
utilizing the jungle trade.
Heading back for his red buff once again.
Core JJ and Wraith seeming to be pretty mobile early on in this game.
Yeah, I like taking the fight to the Tigers, though. Playing as aggressively. We don't see Ambition normally get into a lot of these fights in the early game, but calls in his support.
We just don't see a lot of that from teams in general, especially against the ROX Tigers. Tigers are usually the ones, putting all the pressure on.
But in this game, they haven't picked heavily for the pressure game. Of course, if you're playing Varus, you have to be very careful about how far you push up because he is vulnerable, doesn't have movement abilities.
Yep.
And they chose to put this Varus in the AD carry role. This is the first time this season in Korea we have seen an AD carry Varus.
Yeah, we usually always see it in mid lane, but Prey deciding to take it. I wonder if this was the plan all along or if it was kind of a last-minute flex decision,
Yeah, it is dangerous too because you have a tier. It's a lot similar to Ezreal, though it does have better wave clear early than Ezreal.
Right.
So you're not as vulnerable to fast pushing or split pushing as you would be.
It's true.
With that champion. And Crown is going to get a lot of time here in mid to farm up his tier in return. Has that Nice little CS lead, zoning the Lulu off with the damage over time. Crown is a great Cassiopeia player, always a dangerous pocket pick that you have to plan for when you play against Samsung.
Yeah, very true. Peanut finally getting some of his jungle on his own side of the map, but it looks like Ambition may be planning on going in. He walked through a ward, so he got pinged by the ROX Tigers. They know he's there.
So ROX just playing passive now. They don't have much of a choice. They need to try and just deal with Fiora's edge and snowball that lead. Ambition doing a good job of coming in, getting the deep wards in, and now they can start seriously threatening dives onto the Tigers. And the Tigers know this. Wraith is not quite level 6 yet, but they are going to have to give up a blue buff. Best thing they could do. And it looks like that will be seen. So no dive yet. Tigers still quite worried about that potential in the top side. Varus already recalling, and they're going to give up some CS as a result. They were really concerned about that dive.
Yeah. Wow. And again, you just don't see the ROX Tigers behind like this. Not very often.
Samsung doing a good job. We've seen teams like Samsung and Spenu go blow for blow in the last 2 matches with the Tigers, but when it comes to that mid game, Tigers take those big advantages and start to run with them. And they don't have an answer to Fiora. There is no answer.
Yeah, that's
and
really
they haven't stopped Fiora.
I mean, if things were flipped around, you'd expect the ROX Tigers to be doing a lot of dives, you know, really trying to focus on shutting that Fiora down. But Samsung in that position, they had that little invade early game at the blue buff, but aside from that, they really haven't made any effort to prevent Smeb from just farming up, and he's already 17 CS ahead.
Look at this. Fiora, you can see what Smeb is doing. He knows he has some time, so he walks into the top side of the map just to see if there's a play to be made before he heads down to his bottom turret. He does lose a couple of CS, but his pressure on the map right now is enormous. They have no idea where this Fiora is. Fiora is in fact doing Krugs, but hiding for just a little bit longer.
Oh, Peanut and Gorilla have to run away. They have to give away that Gromp to Ambition. The Graves. Oh, did he get it? I think
he got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Prey actually got that. I didn't see for sure, but it seemed that way.
Ambition didn't have Smite, so very possible.
Yeah. That could be.
Now the mid lane pressure is coming in. They really want to take this turret. They know Lulu is recalled. Great call from Samsung. Just 5-man the mid lane.
Yeah, looks like they'll get it.
So good reaction. Fiora was stuck at the tier 2. Varus was stuck at the tier 2. Might as well, or tier 1 rather, might as well just group and see how much you could take while the defense isn't there, the wave clear isn't there. Varus actually has to recall as a result. Really good shot calling in the early game here from Samsung.
Yeah, we know they're a good team. You and I were talking about this before the cast today, but we're in a kind of a cool situation in Korea right now where a lot of the teams are good. You know, below Jin Air and ROX Tigers, it's a pretty evenly matched battle.
We have like 7 good teams in Korea right now. And then Africa are the ever-present dark horse. Take a series off of SKT. They've actually gone, what, 3-3 with SKT this season?
Yeah, after the 1-2 against them yesterday, yeah.
And they've even taken a game off the ROX Tigers. One of those 3 defeats came at the hand of the Africa Freaks, even though they've only won 3 best-of-3s. They're a team that is so good mechanically that you can't really count them out.
They can be surprising, and of course Mickey, I mean, that guy is just a pretty great mid laner. Not somebody you want to let get ahead. Peanut trying to set something up onto Kuve here, maybe. Ambition fairly close by. Yeah, Kuve senses the danger. He's playing pretty far back.
You see the ROX Tigers matching lanes. Keeping that CS advantage. Smeb moving into a Ravenous Hydra. Of course, you can't, 6.4, you cannot swap freely between Titanic and Ravenous Hydra anymore, which does hurt Fiora a little bit because it was nice to have those early tankier stats. And then switch to the Hydra, the Ravenous Hydra, once you started buying more defensive items, but that is not going to be possible anymore. It does make the sort of mid-game a bit harder for Fiora when it comes to getting ganked.
Yeah. Oh, Smeb. Taking some pretty big hits from Kuve up in that top lane for the moment.
He didn't mean to repost that
I don't think so.
ability, but it's hard to predict because Nautilus has so much crowd control when he's actually going to be using a CC ability.
Oh, and Samsung is probably going to get this first dragon too.
This is exactly what they need. Early dragons. Samsung needs to be able to force a win off of dragon and baron fights with their composition.
The ROX Tigers still, of course, have a great win rate when losing the first dragon. Samsung, not quite as high.
ROX win more when they lose the first dragon than when Samsung takes it.
Wow. ROX wins more when they lose dragon than Samsung wins when they get it.
All three of the ROX Tigers losses have resulted from losing that first dragon, it would appear. And also on the blue side.
It's true. They've never lost on red side. They have lost on blue side, though.
14-0 on the red side as of the last game we saw played. Prey building like you would a Varus mid lane. No real difference. It's not surprising. Definitely need to go for the poke.
Wow.
And the sustain with the mana.
It blows my mind that we had ROX Tigers 2K down at 15 minutes, where they're usually around 2K up on their opponents as an average.
Well, they made mistakes, and this game could very well be a ROX Tigers loss. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Smev in a little bit of trouble. Nautilus ult chases him all the way under turret, but here comes the teleport. Kuro coming up. Canceled it. Decided not to join. Wow, Smev goes back in anyway. Big miscommunication by the ROX Tigers. What in the world happened there?
I think he thought that Peanut was closer than he actually was, but as a result, the Tigers now going to lose their second turret of the game, and with their split pushing composition, this is not how you want things to go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they thought Kuro was going to follow through with the teleport, thought Peanut was closer. That was a bizarre situation. And now Harry is going to get killed off once again, just for his buff.
You're a corpse, Harry. Man, that terrible series could have ended so much faster if that was the line.
It's true.
I'm sad.
That's what Voldemort wanted to say at the beginning. Yeah, it's like, bam, you're dead. GG.
That would have saved me a lot of intellectual pain.
You read all those books?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised you made it all the way through.
Mistakes were made, Noah.
For someone who is so quick to criticize somebody who reads the sequel to something that wasn't that good the first time, you made it through all the Harry Potter books. Wow. I don't think they're that bad, for the record. I think they're okay. You really don't like them, but yet
I was also younger when I read them, so.
Let's see. Sivir ult popped. They're going to try to go in on a Prey and Gorilla. Whoa, Varus ult misses. Prey in big trouble now. Braum ult in response. Here comes the teleport. Prey trying to get her turret. Gets killed off by Ambition. Smeb is here, though, but he's here by himself. Gorilla can't really help. Kuro comes down, but a very disjointed engage for the ROX Tigers. And, yeah, this one's looking a little bit iffy. They may just lose their bottom turret soon, too.
Samsung's doing such a good job of five-manning these turrets, and they're taking advantage of the fact that Prey is going to be weak early, and Varus, there's a reason he's not played at AD carry, he's played in the mid lane, because long lanes are really difficult for Varus.
Yeah.
It's very easy for you to catch him out if you commit to some of these plays, and Core JJ just simply going to spell shield that. They will not get the turret, however, at least until the next wave. And Essence Reaver on Core, so cooldown reduction coming in. This is a wave-clearing Sivir, and they really, really want to make this work. That's not a Sivir build. You usually just see that Infinity Edge first because the reason why she's played is she can't get those crits now, but they just commit really hard to this. And Prey straight up misses the Chain of Corruption. Gorilla tries to ult backwards, but the crowd control was already used on Raze, so that was also an error. And ROX attempts to commit to this, but Crown makes his way back down there about the same time Kuro does, chases him off, forces the flash. And then they just have to abandon that turret. This turret's still up, though.
They kept it alive for the moment, anyway.
Still a large 3,000 gold deficit for the Tigers. They are fighting an uphill battle in this game. They haven't even found their first turret yet. They're not close to being able to set up for their preferred siege at this point in time. We do see Kuro, though. He is going to try and 1-3-1 split push. We see him moving towards the Lich Bane now. And they can use that extra teleport, in theory, to split up the members of Samsung.
This is one of the biggest gold deficits I think we've seen the ROX Tigers have all season long.
Indeed.
Yeah. Might very well be in store for their 4th game loss of the season.
And their first game loss of the second round robin.
Yep, that's right. There we go. Another turret goes down. All the other outer turrets taken by Samsung. Uh-oh. Cuvée. Threatened. Here we go. Peanut comes in. Explosive cast pushes him back. Ultimate immediately used by Smeb. Cuvée flashes away. They're going to get back to the turret.
Trying to make that play.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to deal with the Nautilus. They do force the flash. They don't use any summoners. 2 ults down. And can they take the turret and get more gold onto Smeb? If so, worthwhile commitment to time. Samsung
I think they probably can.
got the bottom turret, though, so they will be trading 1 for 1. But it's about concentrating that gold onto Fiora and letting Smeb with the ult carry you.
There's the ult used by Prey. Where's the follow-up for the ROX Tigers? Thinking about using it. Wraith, though, I think zoned everybody well enough that it didn't work. And
Samsung has
another turret.
This game. They are in the driver's seat. They have the tempo. Great transition into the mid lane. And Prey just not strong enough to efficiently clear these minion waves, especially when they've already split up. Varus has to be there when the minion waves arrive with the line wave clear. Otherwise, he will not be able to clear them fast enough, really, to get off the turret.
Yeah, they kind of spread out a little bit, too, when they get there, and you just can't hit them well with Varus's Q. So Dragon number 2 also goes over to Samsung.
Really quick Seraph's Embrace for Crown. 20 minutes. Already has his tier fully stacked. ROX Tigers on the ropes here.
It's going to be a big comeback if they can make it happen.
Well, Fiora exists.
I was about to say, Smeb is 60 CS up right now, and he does have 1 death, but he's still getting bigger and bigger and stronger, and if we do go to the later stages of the game, Smeb can still just come in and with a good angle, wreck Samsung.
But I like how Samsung's playing this. They're grouping very efficiently. They're taking 2 objectives for every 1 that's been taken from the ROX Tigers. They're expanding their gold lead, and they are right where they need to be to take this. They just have to keep up the tempo. They can ignore Fiora as long as they continue to balloon when it comes to a gold advantage, and they continue to take dragons. They're up 2-0 now. Baron is on the table. They have a composition that can deal with Baron really fast with Cassiopeia, so they can just continue to try and sneak that over and over and over again. All hopes for the Tigers are on Smeb.
Yep. Well, if you're going to put your hopes on somebody, Smeb is probably a pretty good choice.
Leads the league in MVP points for a reason, though.
Yep. He is the MVP. You need somebody to carry, better call Smeb. Samsung baiting that Baron a little bit. It's still early, but they can at least put some pressure on, I guess. Speaking of Smeb, there he is in the bot lane. Now we're not looking at him anymore. You get the idea.
2 turrets down in the mid lane. Lulu constantly having to go back, and Samsung making the right calls here.
Yeah.
Totally dark.
That's right,
Baron. Smeb is waiting to TP, though. He's actually recalling right now just in case he needs to. And there come the TPs.
Teleport coming in for Cuvée, at least both teams. Dragon, or rather Baron, does go over to Samsung. Gorilla in the back lines. Peanut zoning out Wraith. Prey is right there doing damage. Smeb gets the ult, gets the heal, has to flash away, though. Comes back in for more damage. Peanut trying to disrupt Crown, who has to flash out of the pit. Smeb eventually does go down. Cuvée very low, though. So Baron taken by Samsung, but they lose 3 out of 5 on their team. ROX Tigers only losing Smeb. And so the question is, what can the ROX Tigers get out of this?
You see Smeb a little bit stressed out there on the camera.
I guess. You don't see that very often.
Samsung rushing it down. They, like you said, they only have 2 members up. They can't really split push because it's Cassiopeia and Alistar. And ROX Tigers unable to respond. So even though they lose a few members, a good Baron call for Samsung.
Yeah. Let's watch that fight again.
Throwing in the cask immediately, trying to disrupt, but Wraith is the only one knocked out of the pit. Easy secure there. Then the Sivir ult trying to collapse onto one side. Prey does get some good damage down. Smeb is going to TP directly into the pit. Gets the heal, but he's still really squishy. Remember, his build this game is Black Cleaver after the Ravenous Hydra.
That was an epic duel with Kuro and Core JJ down the bottom left of that fight. You know, one big thing that happened in that fight too is Prey missed his ultimate. It barely didn't connect. It was just out of reach, and if that had connected, that might have made it easier for Smeb to get those kills and stay alive.
It's also a big deal that he doesn't have the Titanic Hydra and switching it, because he's gone for a full offensive build here. He is not built for team fights. Absolutely not. Starting to get tankier slowly, but with the item build he has selected, it does make it hard for him to get in that pit and stay alive against the damage that Sivir, Graves, and Cassiopeia can output.
You know, in this situation, don't you need to prioritize the team fight viability?
No. No, you don't want to
No?
team fight them. There is no way with this deficit against their composition that you will win that team fight. They were forced into it intelligently by Samsung. Even though Samsung lost more members, they are getting increasing number of advantages by picking up that Baron.
Using the Baron buff to push on that tier 2 in bot lane.
Still so hard for them to siege.
Yeah, that's what we knew we were going to see. Smeb coming from the top, but he's getting zoned out by Wraith right now. Or actually getting zoned out by Ambition. On the run now, wanted to take that red buff, that's not going to work. Wow, Coach JJ needs to be kind of careful here.
Ambition was really hurt by Smeb's flank. Try and take the red buff. They do get it, but there's a chain of corruption.
Ult on to Kube.
Boy.
Kube knocked back in, flashes away immediately. Braum ult used. Wraith coming in for the secondary engage, and that is bad for the ROX Tigers. Great engage by Wraith, and that sets it up for Samsung. But here comes Smeb from behind, goes after Core JJ. Misses Riposte, gets lit up by Crown. And that is a big team fight win for Samsung. Double kill for Crown, and I think this one may be all but locked up in favor of Samsung.
Yeah, they've got a huge lead now, expanding it to 6,000 gold. Cuvée there, flashing out at the last second after getting ulted into the turret, then hitting his ultimate, forcing Kuro to use the Wild Growth on himself to stay alive, meaning that when Smeb gets into the backline, it's not there anymore. We'll take a look at this again. Now the turret's getting low. They think they've got it, but that is still a tanky dodge. Instant flash by Cuvée. Great play. Kuro gets jumped on by Wraith, therefore he has to use the ult on himself. Everyone's so tanky in that front line. Smeb comes in late, tries to assassinate Core, but they turn on him immediately. They get the turret at the same time, and Ambitions flashes forward to try and pick up a couple more.
Core JJ looking pretty good now, has a lot of damage.
Shot calling has been so good from Samsung this game. They're going to get their third dragon. The win conditions really piling on.
Yep, there it is. And now, if you're ROX Tigers, you can't really even count on that Fiora really carry so hard.
Well, the Varus swap into the AD carry role was, I think, a little bit too cute from the ROX Tigers. Varus has very real limitations in a side lane when it comes to his mobility. And also, Lulu Varus has basically zero synergy. Yeah. It's not a Juggernaut composition. You're not going to get a lot of auto attacks from the front line with him, especially when the build that we see him going. The fact that he is a poke champion first and foremost.
I mean, you want to use that wild growth onto Fiora, onto Smeb, yes, ideally.
But you can't team fight because they have a better team fighting comp and you're really far behind.
Yep.
So you can only split push, and then it results in this situation. Smeb does have TP, and he is going to get this turret. Cuvée is not there to match him. Cuvée can't deal with him anymore. So the hope remains alive. Smeb, how broad are your shoulders?
Well, he's going to get the bottom lane turret at least. It's going to help them catch up in the gold department just a bit. And Kuro and Prey have the capability to poke Samsung pretty hard. I mean, Samsung is fairly squishy aside from the top and support. So with some lucky poke, maybe they can push ahead.
And Cuvée is not going to be there for the poke unless he commits to some deep TPs, which they probably should be starting to think about. Getting some good teleports in, and Cuvée has been quite good at late game TP flanks this year. They have Sivir, they have the initiation with the Alistar, so should be good to go when it comes to tower diving.
Things up in the top lane. Samsung wanting to push that one out a little bit more, maybe. Only about a minute until Baron comes back. And the question is, I guess, how dangerous can ROX Tigers make Baron for Samsung? Because if they can't really team fight them,
nope,
can they at least poke them? They'll have to try.
If you're Samsung, this is the key to victory. You just keep baiting this Baron and the Dragon over and over and over again. I like the fact that Samsung are not overcommitting to sieges with this composition. Clear the waves, walk in there, force them to fight you, and then taken advantage every single time.
Yep. Seems to be the plan.
So the question now is, does ROX just try and split push?
Smeb ults onto Kube. Kuro's right there. Wild growth onto Smeb for the knockup. Kube in trouble. There goes the ult. Pop. Smeb gets that heal. Kube in a lot of trouble. Kuro gets the kill. And picks like that certainly help. But now Samsung rushing down the mid lane.
Okay, this is smart by ROX.
Can they get back to defend?
They do it before the Baron spawns.
Yeah.
They still have 2 teleports. They make the proper pick because the rest of Samsung is setting up vision. And now Smeb is going to take another turret. So they have to back off. They have to deal with Fiora. They cannot push the base. That was exactly the right call.
That gold lead cut down to about 3K for Samsung now.
Crucial. Crucial shot call there for the ROX Tigers. If they rush the base, Kuro can always just TP back in himself to try and clear the waves. If they push forward 4v4, they're probably not going to have the pressure with the low auto attack range on their champions to not get poked out, and then it's a base race between Smeb and Samsung. And if Smeb trades, if ROX trades mid inhibitor for bottom inhibitor, that's in their favor. So I really like the idea that the ROX Tigers had, and Cube is starting to have problems with a 30-minute Fiora.
All right, several U's are going to try to go in on this. Braum backing away. Gorilla has that. They're going to turn it. Gorilla takes a lot of damage. There's the ult. Are you kidding me? Core JJ barely gets out. They want to do this. Here comes Smeb with the teleport. Comes over the wall, trying to get onto Core JJ. He's got his flash to do it, but he can't quite catch him, it looks like. Wow, that was a close call. Meanwhile, Wraith will go down to Kuro.
This is going to be a Baron attempt.
Looks like it will be.
Wow. So Core messed up. He didn't spell shield the Chain of Corruption, and that rooted him, and then the barrel from Gragas came in and knocked him forward, and that meant ROX could actually teamfight that.
I don't know about this Baron, man. I mean, Samsung's there. Gorilla, yeah, they do turn. Exhaust onto Crown. They're chasing Smeb all over him. Gets the kill. Meanwhile, Kube in trouble now in the back lines. Crown is already down. Double kill for Prey. That's going to certainly help that Varus do a little bit more. And will they go back to this Baron? They're already low health. I think they're waiting for the picks. Oh, Kuro's got to be careful.
TP. Now they stopped him from recalling, so he's not going to be able to TP in with full HP
Ambition
until about
damage.
10 seconds from now.
This seems so risky by the ROX Tigers.
They should do it.
All right.
Kuro's going to be back right now.
Gorilla very low. Peanut over the wall, uses the ult. Ambition has to run for his life. Wraith has come back, though. Meanwhile, Core JJ can't fight Kuro. That's another kill for the ROX Tigers. This Baron getting safer and safer. Ambition the only one up right now besides Wraith. ROX Tigers slowly getting chunked down over time, though.
Ambition has to be the hero.
Don't know. Ambition has to try it. Baron kills Braum. That is not good. Gorilla already down. Smeb chasing Ambition away. Kuro trying to do it. They can't do this Baron. They have to back off.
TP.
Smeb chasing Ambition. Gonna go for the kill. Ambition gets it onto Smeb. They pushed it too far. ROX Tigers just pushed this way too far.
They had a split call at the end. Smeb went after Ambition. They're going to try and kill him. They
wow,
get it!
Kuro gets it. Prey trying to back off. Flash ult. Prey flashes as well. Kuro tries to save his AD carry. He can't do it. Maybe he can push the wave back in top lane. And now Samsung going right for this Baron. And there is no way that Kuro can stop them from doing this.
Wow, they had that split call right at the end. Smeb, who they needed to burn down the Baron, was off on the side. And it's like Nautilus will be able to tank this one out.
Oh, they're not going for it.
Wow, I'm surprised. It's only Gorilla and Kuro who are up. They really want this kill. They're not going to get the kill, though.
Yeah, okay.
Kuro has his ults.
Going to get the blue buff. Kuro's just trying to delay now. And he's already gotten more of a delay than I think they expected. Oh, goodbye, Kuro. Totally caught out. Yep. That was a tricky play by Samsung. Delayed the Baron, but not enough. And it looks like Samsung will take that Baron.
This is a really fun game to watch.
No kidding. Samsung gets Baron number 2.
You can really see the tension between the win conditions for each of these two teams. Like Samsung forcing that Baron, trying to turn it, and of course ROX trying to get that advantage when they catch out Core JJ with the Chain of Corruption and attempting to turn that into a Baron and slowly grind it out while getting picks.
So will it be a fight over this 4th dragon? Seems a bit risky, but ROX Tigers might want to try it. They go for the steal. They don't get it. So that's dragon number 4 on top of all of this for Samsung. I mean, Samsung has all the advantages right now. The only thing I suppose they lack is just the ability to handle Smeb in a 1v1.
And also Siege. So
Siege hurts too.
They They really are going to have struggle with that. So let's take a Ambition was such a hero in this fight. Constantly threatening from over the side. He's really tanky at this point in time. Hysteric's Gauge. So he just trying to poke in, deny vision as much as he can. And this is the crucial moment. So the Tigers are low. They try and go in on him. They knock him in. Ambition just flashes over. And Kuro comes around, cleans up core. Going to turn back around. They're sieging the mid turret right now, but nothing's happening, just so you guys know.
That's right.
And they go for this again. Ambition comes around the side. Remember, he doesn't have flash. So they try and force it. And then Baron kills Braum. Shot calls start to go right. Great exhaust. Ambition going to kite this one out. Smeb just isn't tanky enough. Remember, he has a Spirit Visage. He doesn't have any armor right now.
Right.
And that becomes the key factor that turns it on its head. He takes both procs of the Q.
Everybody's back now. Samsung trying to take this tier 2.
But they tried to siege the inhibitor and they couldn't do it.
Yep.
They had to walk away. They just had to walk away from that one. Fiora has teleport up now. There are deep wards if they want to teamfight, which they should not. They should just try and push this wave out. Their wave clear is currently present in the top side. Lulu also TP about to come up, and they have pushed out the mid wave. Samsung needs to crack now.
Now several U's are going to go in right on the Prey, knocked up. There's an Nautilus ult coming in already. Kuro there with a wild growth to try to keep him healthy. Peanut has to back away though. Smeb gets in the back lines onto Ambition. Oh, can he do it? Smeb gets it, completes the challenge, stays alive for the moment, and everybody piling on to Samsung now. Smeb does go down, as does Gorilla. Samsung just too strong in the team fight right now. Can ROX Tigers save their inhibitor? Doesn't look like they can, and if they can't win that fight right there, I don't think they can win this game.
It's going to be really hard. Really, really hard for them to do so. The lead that Samsung has developed and the fact that they are on the cusp of Dragon number 5 and ROX is going to be forced to teamfight them. But Samsung did exactly what they should. Play around Dragon, play around Baron. Don't go for the siege unless you have those objectives in hand. You really have to hand it to Samsung shot calling this game. And to the Tigers. They played around Fiora. They nearly managed to get themselves back into this one, pull themselves up by their bootstraps, in spite of what I would say is a pretty bad composition from them. And now we're in this position. So it's been a very back and forth game, very exciting and well-played game by both teams.
Still a close game. Well, closer than it should be. It's really only close because it's the ROX Tigers. That 6K gold lead doesn't mean a whole lot right now, but the 4 Dragon stacks, that's the real fear. And Prey just has not been able to get a lot done on this Varus. It's
got Death Stance now, come on.
I guess, but
all the CDR.
It's mostly had just regular death. Hasn't been hitting those Varus ults like he needs to. Smeb onto Ambition in the back lines. He's on his own, though. The rest of ROX Tigers trying to catch up. Oh, nice grab from Kuve. Wild growth used, keeping Smeb alive for just a little bit longer, but not long enough. Gorilla pushed away by Wraith, who's going to try to engage. It's a 5v4 now. Man, Kuve has just been on fire with those hooks. Peanut forced the flash off, and now here comes Core JJ. That Sivir could do a lot of damage. Looks like for now, though, Samsung has to disengage. They've lost a lot of health. They're just going to go back and try to siege now. Man, Smeb just trying to be a hero, but he's just not strong enough. Wraith so low. One more arrow from Prey could do it. Can't find it, though. Kube low. There's a double kill from Crown. Nice ult, and now this is going to be it. Double kill at the end from Ambition 2. Just too much of a lead.
Great flash ult from Crown. Still had that available. Goes in for the execute. He is huge on this Cassiopeia.
Wow, and Samsung will be the first game during this round of the tournament to defeat the ROX Tigers in one game at least. The series isn't over. Samsung takes this one. GG.
Really well played by Samsung that time.
Yeah.
From the opening aggression inside the ROX Tigers jungles to the control of the Dragon and the control of the Baron, they did exactly what they needed to with that teamfight composition. They punished the poor teamfighting comp that the ROX Tigers had and did a really good job of snowballing. Cube was just great.
Yeah, he was really good. In my mind, he's the MVP. He had so many great plays on that Nautilus.
Ambition also 1v1ing Smeb after that Baron was pretty clutch. It's hard to say. Ambition did a really good job in that game, too.
The ROX Tigers, for once, not all smiles after a loss. This is a situation where Samsung's seriously threatening.